My name is Colleen and this is my kitchen. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. After trying every diet in the book without any success, I came to the realization that diets don't work. I started my journey at a size 26W weighing just over 300 pounds. In almost a year and a half, I've lost over 120 pounds and I am a size 14. No W. What's my secret? Eating healthy and moving more. Now I'm here to show you how you can cook healthy food without compromising on taste and lose weight just like I have. Because if I can do it, you can too.
Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight I have a great recipe for you inspired by a dish that I had in a local restaurant a few weeks ago called Ensalada Rusa. And it's a great blend of roasted red potatoes and fennel with arugula, albacore tuna, and an aioli made out of roasted garlic, Greek yogurt, and tarragon. It's really, really delicious, and I can't wait to show you. So, first thing we want to do is get our garlic roasting, and I have one bulb of garlic here, and I've preheated my oven to 425, and I have a great little oven-proof baking dish that has a lid to it. That's important. And I'm just going to cut the very top of this whole bulb of garlic off. I'm going to leave it in its paper, and I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of olive oil here and drizzle it right over that bulb. Take this little piece that I cut off and put that back on the top, cover it up, and now I'm going to roast it for about 20-25 minutes until the cloves inside the bulb have really almost turned to liquid. They'll be super soft and easy to cream up. With our garlic roasting, let's start on our red potatoes and fennel. And so these you want to have bite-sized. I have 1 pound of red potatoes here, and I'm going to chop each one into little chunks, throw it in a mixing bowl. 1 pound of red potatoes is approximately 4 smallish red potatoes. You want to make sure to weigh them out though, so you get the correct nutritional information. Because if it's more or it's less, then the nutritional information you get with this recipe isn't going to be the same. Next up to our potatoes, we're going to add some fennel root. And this is what it looks like. You may have seen this in the store before in the produce section and thought, what the heck is that and what do I do with it? Well, this is fennel. And so what we're going to do with it, we really only want this bulb right here. So what I'm going to do is chop off, a little hard, chop off the very top of it, and we can discard that. We don't need it. Has a lovely, lovely smell though. It smells like licorice. And then I'm going to chop off the very bottom of this. Then I want to have it right across the width there, just like that. I'm going to take this very outer layer. It's a little bit like an onion where it's got all these layers in there. I'm going to take the very outer layer off. Then I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to slice it fairly thinly. It almost looks like cabbage when it's sliced up. And it'll come out in these nice thin rings, just like that. Once I have my fennel and my potatoes in there, I'm going to make a little bit of a dressing for them to roast them in, using 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And then I have this specialty vinegar. It's a tarragon champagne vinegar. I've also seen in the store a tarragon white wine vinegar that would work very well. You could also just use a plain champagne vinegar, and add a little bit of tarragon at this point. I would make sure to use some fresh tarragon. The tarragon pairs really nicely with the fennel. And whatever you have, you want to use 1 tablespoon. And let's whisk that up. I'm going to pour that right over my potatoes and fennel and give that a good toss. Make sure everything gets nice and coated. Now I'm going to lay those out on a baking sheet, which I've sprayed with some olive oil cooking spray. And I'm going to put those in a single layer. And I'm going to roast these in the oven for half an hour, 30 minutes. I want to give them a good stir. I give them a good toss about every 10 minutes or so twice during the cooking process. Our garlic has roasted up, and I've also just taken out our roasted potatoes and fennel. I'm going to let those cool here just for a little bit. I don't want them all the way cool, just a little bit cooler than they are just coming out of the oven, because we're going to put them on a salad. And here is my garlic. And so when it roasts, get this out of the way. When it roasts, it's going to get all nice and gooey inside. And so what I want to do is very gently pop each clove out. And I have here a towel that I'm going to use to do this, simply because the cloves it gets a little bit too hot to handle. And I'm going to use a fork to pull some of these out of here. And so I just pull the cloves out of their skins. Just like that. And I'm putting it into a food processor here, because this is going to go into my dressing. So I'm going to do this for every single clove that's in here, because I want to get every last bit of goodness. And it should just pop out of the paper, just like that, all nice and gushy. Okay, once we have that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of that same tarragon champagne vinegar that we used earlier. Perfect. And 3/4 of a cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. I use the Greek yogurt because it's a little thicker. It also is a great source of protein. Okay, let's add that in there. Now let's add a 1/2 teaspoon of coarse sea salt. And then I want a 1/2 teaspoon approximately of freshly ground black pepper. What I like about this is it has a little lid that I can turn it right into. And last but not least, I have 2 tablespoons of freshly chopped tarragon. Absolutely essential. Okay, so now that I have this in there, let's go ahead and give that a whirl. Now that we have our dressing together, let's assemble our salad. To finish this up, I have 4 ounces of arugula, and to that I'm going to add those roasted potatoes and fennel that we made up. I have 1 cup of petite peas that were frozen. I just defrosted them and drained them in the microwave. And then I have 2 cans of albacore tuna, solid white tuna, and packed in water. That's very important. Make sure to get it packed in water, not in oil. And also no salt added. That's also important. So if you get the albacore tuna that has salt in it, make sure to add none or very little salt to your dressing that we prepared. And so I'm just going to flake this out into our bowl here. And if it comes out in chunks, that's okay. You can just flake that up really easily with your fingers or with a fork. And last but not least, we're going to add that delicious dressing that we made. And trust me, this is one of the best salads you will have. Now this recipe, it is intended to be an entree salad. I like to serve it just with some baguette on the side, a piece of bread on the side, and of course a glass of wine. As an entree, it will serve 4 people. As an appetizer or a starter or an accompaniment to a meal, it can serve probably 8 people. And so once we have that in there, just give that a good stir. And here we go, Ensalada Rusa, inspired by a meal that I had at a restaurant, recreated in a healthier rendition, if I may say so myself, in my kitchen for you. I hope you'll give this a try, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I'll see you next time in my kitchen.